All right. All right. Okay, cool. So I'm going to start bringing Auto through. On your end, you're in, you're invited to focus on feeling good and allow your first question to surface within you if it hasn't already surfaced. We are excited to be with you in this way at work. We have been watching you from afar. You have had some turbulent times indeed. However, as this plane goes through this turbulence, it's strengthening its wings. Sometimes a bird, a baby bird, has to peck a little hard at a shell to break through and be free from this shell. And you, my friend, have been pecking towards your freedom. Is this so?
Yes.
Please tell us more about this pecking you've been doing.
Hmm. So that's I think that actually is related to the first question that started to come up for me because I was having trouble forming a complete sentence for the question, but the word integrity and how that relates to other people's expectations of me was somewhere in the question. And I feel like that pecking for me has been starting to believe in what I feel like the the actions of my life should be or the path of my life should be pecking away at other people's expectations having a hold on how I move forward in my life.
Do you want to know what others' expectations of you are?
I feel like I feel like I I've always wanted to know, but I feel like lately I'm caring less about what others' expectations of me are, but still feel like I want to know sometimes.
We'll tell you. Others' expectations of you are your expectations of yourself mirrored. That is all.
Mm, 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 mm,
So if you want to slow down the expectations coming from others, evaluate and understand that these expectations you have of yourself and allow yourself to breathe with these expectations and own them as your expectations just mirrored. To the degree that they affect you, they live in you. If someone comes up to you and says, Edward, we expect you to lift a school bus on top of your head right now, you would laugh at that expectation because
Yes.
that expectation doesn't live in you. But if there's an expectation that lives in you and someone says it and it affects you, that's evidence that it's your own expectation as well. They're just a loud mirror that you may not be consciously looking at, that you can look at now. That others are just mirrors of subtle, sometimes silent aspects of how you view yourself. So these are loving ambassadors of yourself. Now, this doesn't mean that someone can say, well, we have an expectation of you to, I don't know, something that doesn't even make sense. That's like, we expect you to, let's just say, lose 100 pounds in 2 weeks. Yeah, that doesn't mean you have the expectation on yourself, but that does mean that if there's an effect it has on you, then some of that lives in you. Be conscious of the effect it has on you or the energy you feel about it. Because if there's an energy signature about it in any degree, whether it's excitement or anger, it means that there's an aspect of it that lives in you. Otherwise, it wouldn't affect you emotionally.
Hmm. That makes sense to me.
Let your emotions be your guide in telling you what lives in you, what's true for you, what's not true for you. Let your feelings be your guide in that.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense because I as soon as you mentioned that the expectations of others are a mirror of the expectations of myself, I immediately started evaluating, or not even evaluating, just flashes of different expectations and different types of connections with people started to show up, and I could see how what their expectations of me are also expectations that I have of myself. I can. Hmm.
Have you ever attracted anyone that had a strong expectation that you become a Muslim?
Not a strong expect. No, I've had people want question if I was Muslim or not, but I've not had anybody with that like
Okay.
pressing it on me.
Yes. Have you had people with strong expectations that you be a good Christian?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, how much of you believe you should be Muslim? How much you believe you should be Christian? By the way, the effect on both ends of it tells you how much of it lives in you.
Yeah.
This is healing work. Healing is just identifying and owning what lives in you and being at peace and accepting it that you've held on to that. And the moment you accept it and own it and claim it as yours, it starts to fall away because your, let's just call it your rational mind kicks in like, oh, this doesn't make sense at all. We shouldn't have this. And it automatically takes care of it for you. So you don't really have to necessarily work to get rid of the beliefs, just accepting them and owning them as your beliefs, then the mechanism automatically heals it further.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I that does feel healing to me because I think a lot of my pain has come from attempting to live up to people's expectations from the perspective of what I'm currently doing is never enough, so I always have to go higher, but never knowing how high those other expectations are. And that's been the perspective that I've been, I guess you could say, fighting from. And that's where the pain or the struggle has come from, is feeling like it'll it might never be enough. And so realizing that even as I say that, I recognize that that is an expectation of that I have of myself, is that where I am now is not enough and I have to do more. I have to achieve more. And I, maybe unintentionally or intentionally, I don't know, but seek out relationships with people that reflect that back to me, of that need or feeling to do more.
It's intentional.
Mm.
Everything that happens in your life is intentional. It's just, are you aware of your intention or not?
Mm.
Will you be at the group channeling tomorrow?
Yes.
Are you going to bring expectations?
Mm. I actually, tomorrow was one thing that I did not have expectations for. Or, I mean, at least I did not have any conscious expectations that I prepared for tomorrow.
We're lightly joking with you. We are aware that the expectations could come up if you were going to a Christian meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'd like to share a little story with you. There was
Yes.
once there was once a man that stood for freedom, that stood for love, that stood for the greatest, or to become the greatest, one of the greatest ambassadors of change. This man loved freely. This man, let's just call him the start of a new thought movement. At the time, this man felt that he was directly connected with God, and others that connected with him also felt directly connected with God. The only people, at least the majority of the people, that felt that he was not directly connected with God were the people who claimed to already be directly connected with God.
Mm.
So they felt that the most logical thing to do was to destroy or kill this false prophet to save people from not being directly connected with God. Because for him to be directly connected to God, and in their belief, he does not follow the ways that they do, it would mean that they are not directly connected with God and they don't want to be wrong about that.
Mm.
So they killed this man, hung him on a cross so that they can do away with anything that stands in the way of them being directly connected with God. After this man passing, and he did come back after 3 days, he did come back, they've realized that just maybe this man was directly connected with God. And so they started to adopt his teachings, compiled it together, started what you know today as a Bible, taught it for hundreds, even thousands of years. But however, the only people that are not directly connected with God are the ones that claim they're directly connected with God, but don't follow these teachings.
Mm.
and such, this Jesus cycle continues through you. But they don't have to kill you. This is not something that you have to call in. Jesus chose that way of exiting for his particular intentions. And it is a way that he chose. He did call it upon himself. You can create whatever story you want to create. You can have the violent ending, the peaceful ending. You can have the ending that ends in the party, in your sleep, however you want to end it. Because in truth, you're not really ending it. You're just continuing it in different ways. So you are, let's just say, a Jesus ambassador, a Jesus-like ambassador, creating your own way from within and dealing with the expectations that are in yourself, but also mirrored onto others. We experience you as no more closer or further than Jesus was when he was walking the planet Earth to God. You are in direct connection with God. And your expectations are kind of like think of them as static on a radio signal that you're clearing to understand and enjoy, most important, enjoy your direct connection with God. Edward JesusHands. Does this make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. And the timing of that very last naming is pretty interesting, because even at work, I the other day, as in maybe 2 weeks ago, my I was in my my manager had sent an email about something related to my specific task at work, and I was inspired to respond by sending a picture of Edward Scissorhands, but replacing the scissors with something related to my work, and I had said in the image Edward SPR hands, because it was related to my work. And so then the timing of the Edward Jesus hands moment, that that has meaning to me.
We refer back to what we said in the beginning. We have been watching you. From afar and from within.
Yeah.
There's a collaborative effort going on here. You're not alone. You are not alone. The name Keisha came up. Does that have any resonance with you or any significance to you?
Not that I can think of right now, no.
It's okay. Resonance can happen from events of past, present, or future. Just the name Keisha came up.
Mm-hmm.
And it also just said Tisha, Latasha.
I have a sister named Letitia.
Please tell us about this sister.
Just one of my brother's partners, so she's my sister through relationship with my brother.
Which brother?
One of my younger brothers, named Cameron.
Tell us about your relationship with Cameron.
uh, he is my brother that um, I saw a meme the other day that said, "Don't tell anyone, but you're my favorite," and he would be the brother that I would send something like that to. I think out of all of my brothers, I have the closest relationship with him. Um, and there's a lot that there were several years that we did not have an opportunity to grow up together just because the parental situation with us sharing the same mother but different fathers. Um, but in adulthood, we've become closer than me and any of my other brothers.
So it's safe to say that you enjoy this relationship.
Yes.
How can you create more enjoyable relationships in your life?
I feel like that the more one of the things that makes the relationship enjoyable with Cameron is the fact that we can be 100% authentic with each other and not feel judged by one another, even if there are topics that we don't have the exact same perspective on. And I think one of the things that I've been desiring is to build a community where the people that I surround myself with are people that I can connect with in that same way, where they can be a 100% them, I can be 100% me. And that doesn't mean that we have to enjoy all the same activities or tasks, but that we can just be ourselves around each other and not have to feel like an act is being put on to maintain that friendship. And so how I can create more relationships like that, lately I've been practicing being authentically me, even in conversations where I feel like a person might reject an idea or belief that I have. And I suppose I've been allowing that to be my guide or filter of who I should work to maintain relationships with.
Who are the people that you are filtering out?
Hmm. Hmm. I think that I have not actually asked myself that question yet. And as you asked that question, I realized that even though I have an idea of this community I want to create with the specifics that I just mentioned, my actions are still connecting with people that I quote unquote think will like me and attempting to maintain relationships with those people. So I haven't really been doing much to filter people out.
You are filtering people out. You're filtering out the people that you prefer to be around because you're occupying it with people you don't prefer to be around.
Mm.
Every time you set an intention on a particular thing, you're simultaneously, let's just say, filtering out its opposite energy. So if you have an intention of connecting with people that you want to live up to or have an energy of trying to fit in, you're filtering out people that are easy to fit in with, that are easy to be accepted within. because you're actually choosing a state of being with the people. If you choose a state of being of live up to, then someone that has the energy of you're accepted will not resonate with that vibration.
Mm.
You choose your friends, and simultaneously you choose the state of being you rest at. So choosing people that have expectations on you that you don't prefer, then you're in a sense kind of choosing that to live in, and that's just not compatible with people that don't have expectations of you. So the way you can, I should say, hack this is by understanding that every relationship in your life, it's more about how does it make you feel, what state of being, what resting frequency does it bring you to, and do you prefer to be at? And it's a reflection of that. Right now, if you have a lot of people that have expectations of you, you may be in a state of being of seeing your expectations and clearing them out and being aware of them via the expectations of others that don't resonate within you. And that's okay. It's like a filtration or a cleaning process to make space for the people that do accept you. We're just asking to be very real about where you're at if you want to evolve in the way that you prefer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
You may not be able to clean your your old Christian beliefs without connecting with old Christian friends to see those beliefs within you. It's just a way of the cleansing process. Now, you can do this with old Christian friends. You can do this with newer spiritual Christian, however you want to call it, friends. You can do it however you prefer. It's just, do you prefer to go into the mud, or do you prefer to go into the sky, or how do you prefer to do it? How do you prefer to evolve? From what we're hearing from you is you rather do it in a community that accepts you and a community where you feel like you belong. If this is so, then we strongly urge to have an intention and awareness set on where you are right now, truthfully, and where do you prefer to be, and then taking every action you can towards where you prefer to be, while simultaneously accepting where you are now without judging it.
Yes. Mm. Yes, I believe that looking at even just the last few months, what I've been doing is ignoring where I'm at currently and trying to get to where I want to be, but without acknowledging where I'm at right now in regards to connect what kind of people I want to connect with moving forward.
How do you feel about your body and your body image?
I feel great about my body and my body image. I say recently because I used to dislike my body up until a few months ago. And now I actually yesterday recorded myself working out for the first time, and I actually enjoyed going back and watching the footage, and I felt really good about myself.
Your body is a manifestation of your thoughts. What thoughts have you been having to support this awakening and joyful body image you're cultivating?
Some of my thoughts have been that I love myself exactly as I am. Um, I am sexy exactly as I am. That I am in control of how my body looks and operates based on how I'm treating it and what I put into it. And those, I would say that those are the main thoughts that I've been consistent with for the past few months that has led to me really enjoying my body now.
We have a question that has been strongly urged for us to ask you. The channel, Alan, has been trying to withhold this question, but we're going to ask you right now for your process. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you fat?
I hesitated because I have an immediate answer, which my immediate answer was no. But I also remember a few days ago when I was in a mood that I would call sad or upset. I did have one thought of when I looked in the mirror, I felt fat for that moment. And it's not a consistent thought that I have frequently, but I know that in that moment, when I was in that lower vibration or that sad mood, I felt like it was real, and I had to tell myself, "Hey, that's not true." So today, I don't feel that at all. I didn't feel that yesterday, but in that, and even the day that I had the sad mood, I didn't feel that up until my mood had started shifting. But that's where my hesitation came from, because my immediate answer was no, but then I remembered that moment that I had a few days ago.
Tell us about this moment.
I was upset about um, the the challenge of continuing to separate from a marriage relationship and the difficulty in choosing not to express some feelings that I still have for that person because the relationship is no longer intact. And I was upset about the expectations that I had put on myself of limiting who I can express romantic or attractive feelings towards. Um, and what other people's perspective of me would be based on how I expressed my attraction towards more than one person. Um, and I was also upset that through also, I'm currently in a financial position where I cannot maintain the lifestyle that I currently have, and I'm having to, um, I guess, readjust my living situation in the form of selling this house and moving to an apartment, um and not really being able to have the lifestyle of like hanging out with friends and going out to do things as much as I would like to. And so those were some of the things that I was upset about. And while feeling those things, I happened to walk by the mirror, and that's when I looked at myself and felt like I was fat for that moment.
We celebrate your honesty. We greatly want to appreciate and acknowledge you for being real about what happened. Sometimes you will go to a lower frequency to see, let's just call them falsehoods that are creeping within you. And you may sometimes have to swim to the bottom of this ocean to see what's there to release it.
Mm.
When you go into those lower states, that's a perfect opportunity to see what beliefs are still living in you so you can actually own them, accept them, and release them. So when you rise back up, you can rise even higher than you could before.
Yeah.
We bring up this what we call that scenario so that you can see just how you can lose the weight. You lose weight by losing unpreferred beliefs that live within you. And when those beliefs, then let's just say that pounds can follow behind them. We know of a man who spent an entire summer, did not exercise regularly at all, changed his beliefs, did a lot of emotional healing, dropped a lot of weight. He went from, let's just say, around 240 to possibly 205 and just emotional releasing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to your physical body, we have no judgments or at all. We're talking about the emotional body that supports the physical body.
Mm-hmm.
Because when, let's just say, if the weight of these unpreferred beliefs are lost, you're just going to see how much love can come in and feel those spaces that were lost with fears and unpreferred beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And the more love you're imbued with, the easier it is for you to, let's just say, shape your body image to your preference. If you prefer a skinny state, muscular, rounder, whatever you prefer, you can enjoy fully. It's completely yours to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So from this perspective, we're using the word fat as fears at, we're going to add extra letter, we're going to add extra letter here, but fears at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And these fears that are at the bottom of you, you can experience them and release them by being in that energetic state, loving yourself in an energetic, accepting yourself in an energetic state, and owning them and accepting them and breathing them out. Like literally feeling them and breathing them out with really deep breaths. It's a very effective exercise of releasing these fat fears. From our perspective, your body is beautiful. You are beautiful. Simply put, your initial response to our question was actually a pretty factual response. No. However, we're not talking about just when you're feeling in a good mood. We want you to be indestructible in those low moments too.
Yes.
So therefore, we will give you tools for the high moments and tools for the low moments. So therefore, you can go high, you can go low, but no matter what, your confidence, your stability, your peace isn't rocked. For you are indestructible. You are unlimited. You are immovable, no matter what frequency state you're in. This is the Edward we see.
Mm.
Edward JesusHands.
Mm. Thank you.
You are most certainly welcome. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Why?
I had an experience when I was around maybe 7 or 8 years old, and me and my older brother were playing basketball at maybe at dusk. It was not quite all the way dark outside, but not quite light. And We were playing basketball at a neighbor's house. It was only me and him in the driveway. And I don't remember if I saw it first or if he saw it first, but we both looked up and there was um some kind of machinery that was flying, that it was at the height of where a an airplane should be, but it was shaped circular, and it was clearly not a helicopter. It was clearly not an airplane, and it had a light pattern that I had never seen before. It had, I want to say in my memory, it had green and purple lights, and we watched it fly through the sky until we couldn't see it anymore. And I've never seen anything like it again throughout my life until then. And I knew that at a minimum, it was, I guess, what one would call a UFO or unidentified flying object. And I knew that I had a knowing that it was something that was not human in that aircraft, whatever it was at that time.
How old were you when this happened?
Um, I was in, let's see, I was in third grade at the time, third or fourth grade. So let's see, in in 12th grade I was 17. So I would have been, so minus 10 years. So I would have been 8 or 9. Yeah, I would have been 8 or 9 because I would have been in third or fourth grade.
Are you ready to have an interaction like this again?
I would say yes. I would be. I would not be afraid of it. I suppose it is not something I have thought about seeking out, but I would not be afraid of it at this point.
Are you ready to have this interaction again?
Yes.
But not ready enough to seek it out.
I had I had hmm, I feel like I had limited myself from the desire to seek it out because I had the memory came up for me recently, maybe a few weeks ago, and I remember having a thought similar to, like, well, yeah, you could probably, you could probably some recognize something like that again, but how is that going to benefit you where you are in your life right now? So I kind of feel like I've limited myself from limited my desire to seek it out.
With no limitations, do you have a desire to seek it out?
Yes.
Are you ready to act on this desire?
Yes.
Would you like a first step in this?
Yes, I would.
Walk outside, look to the night sky, open up in conversation with the words, friend, whoever you are, wherever you are, the way that I met you in my childhood, I am ready to meet you, befriend you in my adulthood. You don't have to say this word for word, but something to that effect.
Okay.
The same way you start a relationship with a human on earth, you start a relationship with a being who may not be originally of earth from a simple conversation. It can be a conversation. Hey, how you doing? What's up? I know you're there. I'd love to meet you. And then, and then you understand that communication can come in many forms. Communication can come in synchronicities. Communication can come in 1111 numbers. Communication can come in random conversations with other people. Communication can come in TV commercials, YouTube ads. Communications can come in very, very many ways. But it starts with you having the desire and acting on it and being aware of how it could be reciprocated. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're following your excitement in this and your desire in this and your joy in this, just trust what happens within you. Because we're seeing a switch that has a little knob, and it's a switch, it's on a ship, and we're being instructed to share this with you. And that switch has turned on, and the switch that goes on, there's a light above that switch, and it says in red squarish letters, it says, "We are ready." And then in commas or quotations, it says, "When you are." But on their end, they're ready now for you. That is all.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being ready to be ready. One moment. One moment. We're going to make this simple for you to understand. On that ship that you've seen,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say that there is a direct descendant or a direct line of let's just call it the Jesus ancestral line.
Mm.
This is a line of beings that also runs through you too. You quite literally got to see. Imagine a family going on a road trip to see a relative who's not ready to see them yet. You seeing that ship was kind of like that, them on that road trip to see you.
Mm. I can understand that.
And the captain of this ship said, "Don't worry, guys, we'll be back. He's only a child now. Let him explore. But we'll be back." There's family. There's family waiting for you in the stars. And we use the word waiting for you, but on their end, it's not really a waiting. It's more of a ready when you are. They're not just chilling on the moon waiting for you to wake up. They have busy lives too. However, in perfect harmony, you are a part of that life.
Mm.
There's always time for you. There's always love for you. There's always space for you. Edward, Jesus Hands. That is all.
Mm.
We'll say again, you are not alone. And you're also right on time. Your development, your process is happening in perfect timing.
Mm.
You're not behind in any way at all. You're right on time. You're young too. You're very young.
Mm.
You're not what they call old at all. You are, from a certain perspective, you're still in your childhood years.
Mm.
This is
Mm.
important for you to know. You have a vast range of possibilities ahead of you, son. So celebrate, dance if you can. You have a lot of life to live. A lot of life to live. Amen. Do you have any more questions for us at all?
No, I really appreciate what you've shared with me, and I feel like my questions that I knew and did not know have been answered.
Are you satiated?
Yes.
Are you full?
Yes.
We share with you an unconditional love that flows through the stars, through the oceans of your earth, all the way to the oceans and the stars on our planet, per se. For our planet is a beacon, a hub of love that spreads out into all other planets that we enjoy. And your planet Earth is one of the ones that we especially enjoy, simply because of the fact that there are many beings on there, especially you. There's a lot of love that surrounds you. There's a lot of bliss that is ready for you to enjoy and to act on. We strongly encourage you to do more of what you love and don't worry about the finances.
Mm.
That came up. Do not
Okay.
let do not let money assume the same role that a parent or a guardian could have assumed earlier. A a being that decides on when you can have fun and when you can't have fun.
Hmm.
You could be doing that with money right now. It tells you when you can have fun and when you can't have fun.
Yeah.
Don't let money be your parent.
Mm.
And from this, we say, all is good, all is right, all is love. Amen.